From Journey Beyond Words, authored by Jesus, channeled through Brent Haskell. This is the chapter entitled Illness. Greetings again. I am Yeshua. I have come this day to further with you my discussion of A Course in Miracles. Last time we talked about valuing and how it is that when you value something, you see it as a needed part of your existence. Therefore, you ultimately see it as a part of what you are, and therefore you see its absence as, in part, your own death. So your valuing of anything of this earth, of anything at all in any universe, is a desire that you die. For all of space and time shall pass away, and you must see its passage as your own death. One of the primary examples of valuing to be found in this world of illusion is your own illness. The lesson said, "Sickness is a defense against the truth." Indeed, that is exactly so. As I have told you time and again, you are spirit, you are free, you are exactly as God created you, which is unencumbered, unconfined, totally free to be whatever you can imagine. It always seems, does it not, that sickness is a thing which happens to you. But I have told you that nothing happens to you without it being your choice, without it being an expression of that which you wish and what you desire. It can seem frustrating, indeed, to have someone tell you, almost glibly, that your illness, your pain, your struggle is something which you have chosen and which you desire. It especially seems frustrating when within your thoughts your illness is something which you despise and do not want, above all when it brings you pain and limitation. So how is it that illness arises? First, when you think thoughts other than the truth about what you are, you generate conflict. Also, you cannot see illusion without that you value what it is you think you see. When you see your body and you deem it real, it must be that you have valued it. For the lesson said, perception is absolutely consistent. Perception reflects your thinking, and your thinking reflects only what you value. You cannot see a world you have not accorded value, and that is true. Be aware that it is entirely possible to walk this earth seeming to have the form of a body without valuing it in any way whatsoever. In that state you are free. In that state you will not experience sickness. For you, in the absence of your valuing, will not defend yourself, and in not defending there can be no attack. Not defending involves many things, including, as I have said in the lesson, not even planning what you will do 1 hour or 1 minute from now. This seems somewhat absolute to those of you steeped in this illusion. Indeed, it seems very difficult. But truly, it is not so difficult as you think, when once you adjust your perception and head in the direction of truth itself. So ultimately, your illness must be a statement from within that you have valued your body. When you perceive that your body is, totally or in some measure, what you are, then you have identified the body as yourself. To have done that, you must have valued it and must be creating conflict. The conflict arises because you are oneself. Your oneself knows you are not a body. This puts your thinking at odds with the truth of what you are, and this produces the conflict stemming from your one problem, which, you recall, is separation. When you perceive that your body is in any sense real, then you are valuing it, and you will fear its absence or its change. When you fear, you create all manner of havoc in your universe, for as you fear that your body might leave you, or that it might change, that it might do something different from what you desire, you begin to sense that you are a victim of that body. And in that valuing, in that fear, you create your own death. For death is always the result, in one form or another, of your separation and your fear. So you have, out of your own creative power, structured a world in which there seem to be bodies walking around, but which are merely shadows of separation. You seem to have structured a world in which these bodies are born, live a while, age, and then die. And you think that the cycle through which the body goes is the cycle through which you go. That is not true. For you are the Son of God. You are spirit, and you, like God, are unchanging, are forever, and are invulnerable. Perhaps it seems to you like so many hollow words. I am sure it can seem like preaching when I seem glibly to say, all of your illness is but your choosing. All of your illness is but your fear. Give up your fear and you will be fine. I know how frustrating that can be when it seems that you want to give up your fear and somehow it does not go away. So I have come in love to speak with you this day. I have come to share with you how you might more peacefully approach your own illness, your own body, and even its death, if you choose that to happen. And most likely you will. Very few of you choose not to die physically. Remember, the world you see is a reflection, only a reflection, of that which is within. The external and internal worlds are not in complete correlation. Furthermore, the correlation does not function in both directions. It is true that what you see in your external world, including your body, is a reflection of your world within, but it is only a reflection, because the physical world cannot possibly represent that which you are in spirit, which is the Son of God. Any time you seem to experience grief or pain or loss or tiredness or illness or death, it but reflects that which is within, and that which is really just your thinking. However, it does not follow that when you seem to have no illness, your mind is free of conflict. Some of you have chosen to come here and not experience illness, simply to live a life free of physical pain until you die. And even your dying can be without pain. And that is simply your choice. Some of you have come here and chosen a life of illness and struggle with seemingly persistent pain. That, too, is nothing more than your choice. Neither is good, neither is bad, nor is one better or worse than the other. So if you are ill, do not think yourself wrong. Just realize that it is what you have chosen. Your illness commonly does reflect a poison within, but your health does not reflect a goodness. And your health does not reflect an absence of that same poison within. Hear me well. When you, in your desire not to be ill, value your body and its absence of symptoms as something good, as a desirable goal, you are not focusing on what you actually are. For your focus is still on the body, and that body remains the source of your conflict, your separation, and your pain. So I said in the lesson, only salvation can be said to cure. If you have chosen some symptom, however minor, and if you choose to use the power of your thinking, and powerful it is indeed, to make that symptom go away, you are still living within and valuing this world of illusion, and you are not yet free of your conflict. You only seem to be free if you equate incorrectly, no less, the absence of illness with the presence of truth within. So be careful as you deal with your illness, not to attempt only to free yourself of your symptoms, for that what keeps you in this world of illusion. The only real cure for your illness, the only real cure for the problems of this world is your forgiveness. And your forgiveness ultimately means realizing that none of this world is of any value whatsoever. In that realization, you become free. It should be clear by now, if you value something, then what you value you will see, and what you value you automatically equate with yourself. For that is simply what valuing means, and the fear that it will disappear, which is the fear that you will disappear, is the belief in your own death, and the wish for the same. All of this shall pass away. Even you, in your thinking, know that when you value any of it, all the while knowing it shall pass away, you are creating your own death and the fear of the same. Once again, your forgiveness is nothing more than the realization that there is nothing here to value. And when you perceive yourself to be ill, when you perceive yourself to be in pain, know within that your illness is nothing more than a reflection, a validation that you are valuing something here within this world. When you go beyond the valuing of this world, truly there will no longer be illness. You will no longer need the experience of pain, for pain is just a reflection of your fear. So for those of you who have chosen illness in whatever form, from severe chronic pain to occasional discomfort to the slightest allergy or sniffle, you have chosen an easy way, because in your wisdom you are presenting yourself with evidence that you are valuing this world, and your symptoms are merely the reminder of your valuing. As you come to know that this is so, try as best you can, over and over, to come back to the realization that you are spirit, that you are free, that you are not a body. Try to realize that your mind, in its reality, holds only the thoughts you think with God. As you become still within and attempt to let go of your fear, which you do by focusing on the thoughts you think with God, then the fear will pass away. It will not pass away because you have fought it or struggled against it. It will pass away because you have simply let it go. You will not have to let go of your fear through struggle, but you will have to let it go, because you have chosen something more precious, indeed, something that is worth valuing. What you will have chosen is the thoughts you think with God, and your forgiveness frees you from the belief that any of the thoughts you think with God are centered here upon earth, for indeed nothing here is to be valued. Lest your mind wander into conflict, be aware that you can walk this earth in peace, in love, and in joy without valuing anything here. In the absence of your valuing, you shall be without fear, in total safety, without illness, and without your own death, until such time as you might choose to move on and to change form. To walk this earth thusly shall be your goal, and that shall be a form of your salvation. There is much more beyond of which I cannot speak, for you would not understand. Be content to know that you are blessed, and you are free as the Son of God. There are those of you who have not chosen a great deal of illness, who have not chosen a great deal of pain. Do not mistake that for the absence of your valuing. Rather, your job is perhaps more difficult. If you have what you call a good body, which behaves well for you and lets you do the things you want to do, it becomes far easier to value those things and to want to keep them. But as we have said, in your valuing, you create fear and the belief in your own death. So you have chosen a variation on the path to salvation. What you can do then, since you seldom choose pain, is be diligent and look carefully at that which brings you joy. And if that which seems to bring you joy is dependent upon something of this earth, so that your joy would pass away if the earth should pass away, then let that be your illness. Realize that when you find joy in what this earth offers you, then to the point that you value it, that shall be your illness. For it will lead you eventually to pain, because it too shall pass away. You can learn this by being aware of your thinking. If you find joy in something of the earth, and you find yourself able, within that joy, to experience it in that moment, in that instant, then you are free. But if there is the slightest fear, the slightest worry of whether you will be all right when the source of that joy passes away, then know that you are valuing and are bringing about, just as in the case of illness, your own death. Above all, do not be deceived into thinking that because you are not ill, you are free of the valuing. This issue is very important for you to be aware of. It is an issue of thinking. And even the thinking shall pass away. In the time when you no longer think, your valuing will not even be an issue, and you will be totally free. You do not even have to struggle against your valuing, for it will go away, in the same way that everything of this earth will pass away. Be aware that I have merely given you concepts for you to apply your thinking to. Such application of your thinking shall help you move beyond it. But whether you choose to follow these suggestions or not, you are absolutely safe and absolutely loved. So the issue is not your illness. The issue is not the absence of your illness. The issue is that your freedom comes from not valuing that which is valueless. Your freedom comes from realizing that there is nothing in this world which you can want enough to value or to desire that it be yourself. In the absence of your valuing, you will become truly free to walk this earth for as long as you wish, in joy and in love. And all your brothers will see that joy shining in your face and in your eyes. They will perhaps seem to be confused by some of it, but at the deepest level of what you are, there is only oneness. There is only the one self, and they will know of your experience. As you truly cease to value anything of this earth, as you come to the joy that lies in knowing that you are totally free of anything here, because you are a spirit, because you are the Son of God, because you are co-creator with God, then you are totally free. Your brothers will sense in you that freedom, and you will truly be one of the saviors of the world. Blessings upon you all, that is all.